What's up, Minnesota Viking fans? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. My name is Kyle Smith, and I am joined by the whole crew this evening. Adam Carlson,
We are all here.
AKA, you're in Michigan, correct?
Don't say urine.
Urine. I'm going to call you Michigan Batman because you're hiding in the shadows out there.
This ain't no pee show.
Yeah, you got to
I'm
charge.
gonna call you R. Kelly.
We're gonna have our OnlyFans page set up soon. We're not gonna tell you whose stuff's gonna be on there. You have
That's
to
a
guess.
bad transition right there.
It'll be us and
I thought
Frank
it was a
Gore.
great transition because it's a Frank Gore call out in the stupid Jet show, and I
Why
can't
you're
believe
gonna do pee stuff on our OnlyFans?
if the price is right and the tip is high enough, possibly. I won't shut the door on it. And poor Kyle West has to hear us talk about that. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about tonight.
Welcome to the show. We're trying to get more views.
We're just immediately going to get buried in the algorithm by YouTube.
What's up? We have Charlotte and Jonathan in here, and Michael's here as well. Appreciate you guys tuning in. This is episode 503. WilSons of Anarchy. You could have picked Zach Wilson, but I liked Garrett Wilson coming out of the draft, and I thought maybe possibly kind of sort of the Vikings might have had.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's he's not in a good spot lately, so this one will go after wide receiver Garrett Wilson. I could have came up with something fun for Mike White, but what I'll do in the offseason picking these titles is focus it to Viking stuff, but for the rest of the season and the season that we've had so far, try to pick the opposing team you're playing, something related to them. So if you're wondering, Garrett Wilson, this is for you, this show.
Show titles are hard, folks, especially when you're at 503 of them.
When you're trying to make a pun, it's a little frustrating, so I cheat and use the internet, but well, it is what it is. But it's Victory Monday. If you're a Viking fan, the Vikings have moved to 10-2 on the season. They are in first place in the NFC North. They could have locked up the division yesterday, but the Lions handled the Jaguars pretty well, which is funny because we're going to preview the Lions game later, but they win a close one again. That is this season in a nutshell, 27-22 over the Mike White-led New York Jets. And I think the story of the day was the defense. There were a lot of trips to the red zone, which were not in touchdown form. Just came away with field goals, and that was kind of the deciding factor on the day. Yet again, the Vikings don't score in the third quarter, and they look pretty confused.
At one point, the Vikings had a 3-possession lead. Let it trickle away.
And, we get pretty, pessimistic sometimes on the show. We try to stay happy and thoughtful about everything, but you can't help but think when they run into like a buzzsaw, like maybe if they have Dallas again or Philadelphia, they're going to have to play one of, if not both of those teams. And you can't play this, score some points early and then wait. You have to just keep scoring. So the defense has had this kind of formula all year where they are great in 2-minute drills and, at the end of the game, if you need a play, I mean, it's happened in like 5 games. So it's not just by chance. This is how they operate. But you wish that it didn't come down to this. But the ultimate deal of the day is the Vikings are 10-2.
Yeah, it's been frustrating to watch the defense because you get pissed at them. They give up a big play. They let the other team drive all the way down the field. And then it's like they just lock it up and they come up with a big play in a big moment when you need them the most. And you kind of feel like we're getting lucky out there, but I guess I'll take it, ? I really wish that this team could put together like a full 4 quarters performance where we play offense, defense, special teams, and just put an opponent away. That's what I would like to see.
I don't know if you guys check out my work over on the Viking Age, but I put out an article that came out this morning about top takeaways and how this season has given us so many like kind of cool moments to remember this season by, whether it's Justin Jefferson's great catch or Patrick Peterson intercepting that ball against Buffalo, or Cam Bynum's interception this week. We're getting these moments that make us feel like this season is something.
Yeah.
It might not be that big Minneapolis Miracle moment that, takes the grandest stage of them all, but these moments are definitely adding up.
Yeah, and somehow it's easy to forget that this team is 10-2. Like, that's an excellent record, and that's an excellent turnaround from where we were sitting at this time last year. Because you feel, at least I do, a little frustrated at times watching Vikings football. But then you just zoom back big picture, and it's quietly a really good season for the Vikings.
The last time the Vikings had a winning record, they were 10-6 with Mike Zimmer in 2019, and by all counts, they are going to pass that team's record this year. They're going to win at least another game. I think they're going to win quite a few more games, but
so?
Yeah, I believe in them. I don't know if they're going to win out, but I don't know. Have another hiccup along the way, but you could be 14-3. I think that would have exceeded all of our expectations. That nice stretch here. I've got it up from. Let's go back. I had it.
Well,
on
one thing I'm excited to see is what they're going to do if Minnesota wins on Sunday against Detroit, if they shut down Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see what the philosophy for Kevin O'Connell is.
Because as you saw in the preseason, they shut Kirk down completely.
Right.
They did. I still think
are they going to play on the side of caution?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something to be said for keeping that momentum going.
Now, when you say shut him down, Adam, you like how early in advance are you talking going forward?
Well, we're only 5 weeks left in the season.
Right. So if they win on Sunday, you're talking about shutting him down for like
it could be 4 weeks. Who knows?
I don't think that's possible. Unless you're just giving up and saying we'll take the 2 seed and we'll just be okay with that. You got to fight for that 1 seed.
Yeah,
you still think one's in reach?
I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you rest your starter for an entire month? There would be a lot of shakeup there. Maybe you can pull him early from games if they know they're going to win. You know, maybe they beat the Lions. You can tell they're routing the Colts to take them out in the third quarter, get some rest. But
I know this isn't really a popular thing to say, but outside of the 49ers, the wild card teams at the moment are all kind of interchangeable. I'm not too afraid of the Giants, and Washington pushed Minnesota already once this year, but I think at home the Vikings could get it done again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they've got 5 games remaining. At the Lions, home for
great
2
for
games.
A quarterback, you know.
Yeah.
Home for 2 games, the 17th and the 24th, the Colts and the Giants, and then the last 2 games on the road against the Packers and then the Bears. It'll be interesting. They can win all of these games. The Vikings going into this game yesterday had the easiest remaining schedule in the NFL, so we'll see.
Bears already mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
That's wild.
Did Justin Fields Bears and Texans yesterday? Are eliminated.
Did Justin Fields play yesterday? I didn't even check.
Oh, yeah. He had a big run for a touchdown.
I thought he was injured. I didn't know how long he was going to be out.
He was a game-time decision.
I thought Aaron Rodgers was not going to play either, but I guess he's playing through a thumb injury. It's wild.
And ribs now.
He's got to be done in Green Bay. Got to be.
Well, did you hear his post-game speech?
I saw it in a short clip.
You never know when it'll be your last one.
He made sure to take some jabs at the Bears, which was hilarious. But yes, a little cryptic there. I like it. Read between the lines if you please. But yeah, I had to pull up the schedule there. The Vikings, I can't believe they won 7 in a row in that stretch, man. And that's 9 of their last 10 they've won. So it's pretty awesome. We'll pull up the stats here, but for now, if you guys want to give away game balls and donkeys, go right ahead.
I'll kick it off. You know who I think deserves a game ball, and I don't know if we've given one to him yet this entire season. Out there on defense, Patrick Jones II, who is a really good play. He's a playmaker for the Vikings, and he's a guy that there's that Chris Collinsworth in me. He's a guy that you're going to want to keep on the team for a long time to come. He's a good young playmaker to build around, and I like what he does out there on defense for this team. I feel like every time you look up, Patrick Jones is out there doing something positive for the Vikings.
I've been just sitting here thinking about who deserves this game ball because it's frustrating because the defense was so bending.
Yeah.
But they definitely up on fourth down, third and fourth down, and then, got some takeaways. So you can't be too mad. Offense should have been higher power. So Donkey will probably come from there.
Sure.
I guess you got to give it to the Vikings run game. Let's go with Dalvin Cook because they were able to grind out and control the game on the ground, which isn't something Minnesota's been really doing this season. They've been looking to the air first and trying to succeed with those passes to Justin Jefferson and force that. And then this week they won the game by basically controlling the ground and playing with less mistakes. So let's go with Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, it was a good game for Cook. He had close to 100 yards. It was 86 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. Madison was out there. He had his 14 yards. He contributed a little bit as well, too. But yeah, You're right. There was a good job leaning on him. I think we all knew that, the Jets got a good defense. So it's going to be...
they're top 4.
Right. So it was going to be difficult for our receivers. And it was. They struggled a little bit. Adam Thielen struggled actually quite a bit, I felt.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second because that's going to be my donkey. But I'm going to give my game ball to Cameron Bynum. Low-hanging fruit, but interception, 2 passes defended, 6 tackles by himself, and then an assist for 7 total on the day. He's 3rd overall. I mean, he had a great game. I did like what I saw from Caleb Evans as well, but he had a couple plays where he got tangled up, rookie stuff. But, yeah, you guys hit the nail on the head, man. This is that bend don't break stuff, so you got to be okay with the chunk plays, but for some reason they know how to get stuff done in the red zone and come up with these big clutch plays. But like I just said, I said it before we got into this year, and I hate that it's been kind of come to fruition this year. We got to find somebody else to jump in that wide receiver 2 spot. I don't know what's the deal with Adam Thielen, but this is not a good year for him. And
if it's decline, that was a steep decline. If it's his back injury from last season, then that's something that they should be looking to the draft for this year, or maybe free agency. Maybe they should push a little bit for Odell if that's what they're wanting.
Yeah, and it's no disrespect to him. I love what he's done for the team, and I think he can still contribute. But if there's such a major drop off from 1 to 2, and with how often the offense stutters in neutral. If this were a car, I need a little bit of closure in the gap between Jefferson and whoever's number 2 on the list, because we're so screwed if that guy goes down. I mean, the team, that's pretty much, I would say, the season, because you rely on him so much.
For how much Osborne and Hawkinson have been stepping up, it's nice.
Yes. And we had a Jalen Reagor sighting yesterday. 1 catch for 38 yards, and he adjusted on the ball. So
he was quick. He was quick off the line, and he made a good adjustment, good catch. He came down with it. That was a good play by Jalen.
What's funny is you could give first quarter Kirk Cousins the donkey, and the rest of the game, Kirk Cousins, you could give him the game ball.
And I was just going to bring that up. Sergio says Cousins was his donkey. Yeah, he started out in 3 of 10, but he finished the day here with a 75 QBR and 21 of 35. You want to hear something that's a horrible stat? Mike White, 31 of 57. Just awful. And then a 23.1 QBR. I mean, for all the good throws that dude made yesterday, there were a lot of miscues. And
a lot of yards given up. Vikings gave up, 380 through the air?
Yeah, I'm looking at 369. So Kirk only had 173, but he had a touchdown. So
I don't know if you guys remember those few years the Packers were just absolutely dominant, but their defense was giving up yardage like absolute crazy. But where they were succeeding was getting takeaways.
Yep.
And that's reminding me a lot of what this Minnesota team is doing against some of these teams. The games where they do get takeaways are the ones that they get those wins, and the games where the takeaways just aren't there are the ones that are the 2 games that they've really struggled and lost this year.
I do want to bring up some stuff before we run down stats and talk about any plays we liked in the game, but I don't really get too emotional over what other fans say about the Vikings on Twitter because a lot of people, if you don't follow closely, you don't have that emotional level-headedness and non-bias. There were some people chattering yesterday, and this is at a quick glance once at Twitter yesterday. I didn't post, just checked one time during the game, saying the Vikings are getting all the referee calls this year, and I laughed because I think the refs called a great game yesterday. There were some hits. Jefferson said it in his post game. He's going to be sore today. He was getting beat up yesterday, but I liked the matchup of Sauce Gardner and Justin Jefferson. He didn't have a lot of yards yesterday. Justin Jefferson going
Keep
back
in mind
and forth
that
with
Gardner did not travel with Jefferson.
Yep. But what I noticed from watching him, because we all wanted that kid to be a Viking because we could tell he was going to be great, and he is great.
Oh,
he is
yeah.
a great corner, but he's very handsy. A lot of Xavier Rhodes reminded me and him of just grabbing stuff all day long, and then
That's that tough transition from college to the pros.
Yep.
It's not really the same game for corners.
The other corner and a couple of the safeties had some big hits on Jefferson, but I like that they're protecting players, especially the star players, man. Like they shouldn't get special treatment, but they should get that call when it's there. And I don't think anything they threw yesterday, had it went the other way around, that I would have been very upset about it. So I'm glad the referees had at least 1 week where I thought they had their shit together, because we've complained about.
There were a couple plays
times
during this game where I did kind of say, well, Minnesota got a little bit of a benefit of the doubt there. There was that Kirk Cousins run where he lowered his helmet at the end and kind of like dove forward a little bit, and they could have got him with leading with his helmet.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the Mike White rushing touchdown where it looked like he obviously got in the end zone. They had to review it to give him the score. Those two opportunities were times I feel like Jets fans really could have complained.
I agree. And I'm looking on the Vikings side of the ball and thinking, okay, I'm really glad that, I don't know, I'm glad that they didn't screw us over and run into the safety on one of the plays. Or let 12 men on the field for the third time this year in any given game. So
yeah.
That's cool. Basically, yeah, I see that, Adam, for sure. It was weird. I don't want to say this is one of the wonky games, because we've had a couple wonky games for the Vikings this year, but really want to see them score points in every quarter, even if they're just field goals, just to have that consistency. But all in all, they pretty much do what they're asked to do.
It feels a little bit like the Vikings stole this one. That last minute interception.
The whole season? Yes.
Well, this game in particular was one where you kind of feel like they stole it, because it almost doesn't seem like a win. You know what I mean? It's like They gave up so many yards, and it's like, yeah, you had one play that won them the game. And I guess it is a positive, but if that luck runs out for this team,
it's going to. I'll say it now. This team's not going to win the Super Bowl. I just don't see them beating Dallas at full strength or Philadelphia. San Fran scares me as a whole unit, but I don't know I don't know how this guy is that you talked about that's going to quarterback for them now.
Baker Mayfield, you mean?
Yeah.
I would give him a look if I were them. There's no harm in flirting with him, but I don't know. And then I don't know how they beat the Chiefs. Bengals are hot right now, and let's be honest, man, that Bills game it goes down as probably the best game of the year, but they had a lot of luck in that game. I don't know if you replicate that twice, but the cool thing is we kind of know this team is guaranteed to get in the postseason at this point. It's all but locked up.
This team, this team has dumb luck on its side right now.
Yeah, for sure.
That counts for something. The Giants won a Super Bowl with Eli Manning on some dumb fucking luck. That's basically what that.
Eli Manning has two, doesn't he?
He sure does.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. I want him to go. I would like to see an NFC title game. That would make this year feel complete. I don't know how they beat Philadelphia. Their formula it just works against the Vikings, but
Philly and Dallas will both be just really tough.
It's tough. You kind of know it ahead of time, but hopefully they can squeak out a good playoff win. And if they had that success, like in 2019, we had no business winning the game against New Orleans, but it felt like a successful season because of that. So if they get a postseason win with Kevin O'Connell, I'll be happy. But yeah, Jonathan, you're right. Didn't Mike White have almost twice the yardage as Kirk Cousins? He did, and he had a horrible QBR. like a horrible, like 28.1 is what I
Yeah,
read.
he also had 2 picks when Kirk didn't throw one. Although early in the game there, he had a couple throws that were pretty questionable.
Yeah, especially when you get a pick on like the first drive too. Ugh, it's tough to bounce
right.
back. But I like what I see if I'm a Jets fan out of Mike White. You like that he's your backup, possibly your starter, because we don't know when Zach Wilson's going to come back.
He's terrible. Fuck him.
But I will say this:
room.
just like the Vikings and the Lions, like this year, because kind of comparing them to years past, especially the last 2 seasons, we didn't make this postseason. This ain't your dad's old Jets team. This is a good football team, and they're on the rise. And the AFC East as a whole, I believe, maybe New England is right at 500 after they lost to the Bills on Thursday. But
the Jets aren't the joke team they used to be.
They're not. They're very good. And the AFC East as a whole, just like the NFC East, every team has a winning record, which is absurd. So the balance is kind of off there. But what's up, Thomas? How about these cardiac arrest games? I know it's wild. And the crazy thing is, I was streaming the first half, and then my connection just decided it wasn't going to be anything. So I had to do the live update on ESPN, and there's nothing more I hate than that. I just want to watch the game.
It was on Paramount Plus for me, which was nice.
Nice. So going down the stat line, we've already kind of mentioned the quarterbacks. We run over rushing very lightly. Dalvin Cook, 20 for 86 and a touchdown. Alexander Madison with the celebration of the year for individuals here, twerking in the end zone. So I found out on Instagram right before we started the show where he got that inspiration from. It was from a women's soccer player. So that was really funny.
Oh yeah.
He posted on I don't know if it was Instagram or Twitter, one of the social medias. There's like a number of thrusts that you can get away with before you get fined by the NFL. And he was hoping to keep it under the allowed amount of thrusts. So, that's
funny as shit.
You talk about athletes living in a completely different world than the rest of us. Well, there you go.
Yeah, on the day, the Vikings rushed for 128 yards. So that's what you got to do to set up some kind of formula. It's wild because when you look and see, like, take the score away. If I look at this now, I don't put up, QBR or anything like that. I just look at the totals for the day. 159 yards passing and 128 rushing. Do they have time of possession down here? Not on ESPN, they don't. It's on a different part of it. Let's see the time of possession for the game. I mean, I would think, Minnesota only had it for 28 minutes versus 31-38 for the Jets. I would be like, all right, well, that was a hard-fought game. They lost.
Yeah, statistically, it looks like they should have lost this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Receptions, obviously JJ led the way, 7 out of 11 for 45 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Reagor had a nice appearance with 1 for 38. TJ Hawkinson just continues to impress me for being here so little of time. And it's really funny. Kyle brought this up in our chat, but Jalen Reagor was said by Kevin O'Connell today to still be learning the offense. And we're like, didn't he say like TJ Hawkinson knows the whole playbook now and he's been here for like 3 weeks?
Right. And we're not knocking Reagor. Like he's kind of grown on me. I kind of like the trade now. I think he's
for sure.
Asset.
Did you notice that Minnesota used both Ham and Hawkinson on that touchdown run for Dalvin Cook?
Nice. I did not see that. I'll go back and watch it. That's cool. Pretty quiet on the day. Adam Thielen 2 for 27. KJ Osborne had a nice couple of catches, especially to move the chains, but not very many receiving yards. No fumbles for each team, which is nice. Eric Kendricks led the way with 14 tackles. Harrison Smith and Cam Bynum right underneath with 8 and 7, respectively. All total, the Vikings had 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, 13 passes defended. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's where they're making their money right there, especially when that comes on 2nd and 3rd down. Those pressure. This is a situational football team. And I'll tell you what else, and we'll go through. Greg Joseph was perfect on the day. Ryan Wright did his thing. I love Kevin O'Connell so much. Every time I watch his post-game stuff, I get so fired up. I believe every word he's saying. If he's full of shit, he's selling me on it because
my only issue is that I'm falling a little bit into is he too much of a player's coach?
We haven't seen him get angry. I've seen him get fired up on the sidelines and drop some F-bombs that they have to censor out, but that is true, Adam. That's a very good point.
I don't know if you guys saw the video of Tomlin going through his tunnel, and the fan that was talking to him. I got a good chuckle out of that.
No, I missed it. What happened?
Some fan is doing like a selfie thing and turns. He's like, "Hey, coach." He's like, "I'm at fucking work right now." I mean, just Tomlin? Like holy, like in the zone, like when they walk through past where the fans could be. Like, there's obviously a big glass window in another room. It's one of those like VIP fan access areas. And he's like, "I'm at fucking work right now." It's just mean as hell. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that as soon as we were done recording.
Just go to Pat McAfee's Twitter. I was rolling when I saw that. I was like, no, I still love Mike Tomlin. He's the shit.
That's so good.
Do you think D. Smith is still nursing that injury? D. Smith. Who is D. Smith?
Devontae?
Yeah, Zadarius, you mean? I don't know. I also believe that the last couple of games we played teams with really good lines, and they just kind of do what they're supposed to do. I don't know. John,
it was a little disappointing that I didn't really feel like Smith or Hunter really took advantage of the average at best offensive tackles they were up against in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there should have been more pressure coming from the edge, and that's not a big knock because, of course, Zadarius Smith is leading the NFL in pressures from the edge. He might not be leading in sacks, but he's leading in pressures.
Well, they did too yesterday. Like, I know Thomas up here said, goes to show you, Jonathan said, goes to show you stats aren't everything, but they did have 8 quarterback hits. So they're getting to the quarterback. They're just not getting the sacks that you would want. But I'm sure that would translate to pressures. I'm sure some of those balls that were passes defended or incomplete, because he had like 20 some incomplete passes yesterday. Some of that had to be on the pressure. I just would like to see them get home and pen them back and have them in long, first and long, second and long, whatever. But all good. Somehow this team is 10-2 though, and transitioning from the Jets game to preview the Lions game. The Lions have done well. I'd say like every other year they split with us. This is a tough team, and this is a good point. Wes says defense better be ready this week. Lions offense has been putting up some points. Yeah, they can put up some points on you, and right now they're favored by 1 point against the Vikings in Detroit.
They are,
which is nuts to me, but
I like it. I like being the underdog. This team thrives on that shit. So just keep on doing it. Keep on motivating them.
TJ Hawkinson revenge game. I'm calling 2 touchdowns for old TJ Hawkinson this game. You heard it here first. Let's go.
140 yards, 2 touchdowns, TJ Hawkinson.
I hope that happens. I really like him. He might be the next jersey I buy for the Vikings because he's a very young player. And, you could get a Jefferson jersey. That's fine. But I want to get something that's not the very first option, and he can
hold off and see how the contract negotiations work out, because I know he's got this 5th-year option still, so Minnesota's got to pay him that $9 million next year. But I don't know what the tight end market really is anymore.
We won't say non-existent because that implies that there's nothing there. But
Kelsey and Andrews, and he's not going to get that money.
Correct, and I don't think he should, but he should get compensated. And correct me if I'm wrong, Adam. You have a better sense of this stuff, and you're very involved with people behind the scenes and Twitter and stuff. But isn't that why they kind of wanted to say, hey, we don't want to pay him what he might be asking for?
Right.
Detroit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I knew this question was coming. This is the Twitter question of the month, last month, and going in and out. Sergio Moreno says, how are you guys feeling about defensive coordinator Ed Donatel? This defense gives up so many yards, and I'll prefer a dominant defense over bend but don't break. Here's what you need. This is my answer, Sergio. This is the Kyle Smith answer. I just need a couple more of these plays, not at the end of each half. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you give up all these chunks. If you do what you did yesterday and you can turn those passes defended into interceptions and those quarterback hits into sacks, I'm fine with where the defense is, because some of the guys are old on the defense, some are new. The depth doesn't make me happy, but it's better than what it was in years past. So
when you're talking about takeaways, don't forget to include getting turnovers on downs, because this Vikings defense has been very stingy in those short situations.
It'll be interesting to answer your question in the second part if they keep going forward. I believe he'll be here next year because if they lose every game now, they'll still be 10-7 and they're going to make the postseason. So it's kind of like, why would you fire him if it's working? But I don't think it's sustainable. Some of these guys are going to leave like they do every year. Some of these guys are getting old. Who knows if Patrick Peterson comes back? Sounds like he might. But it's working right now. And like Kyle West said earlier, they just have dumb luck on their side this year. So ride that shit out till it breaks.
I feel like the Vikings are way ahead of the curve on where we thought they would be this season. Like, we were coming into this year going, hey, competitive rebuild, but if we win like 4 games, well, I'm also okay with that too. So
this is the first year of the new scheme too.
Correct. That's right where I was going with this, Adam. First year of the new scheme. I honestly don't think they have very good depth at corner. I didn't think that coming into this season, and especially with getting some players banged up out there. In next year's draft, you're drafting defense for this team. You're getting back Lewis Seen. I think
don't be shocked though if it's a quarterback or a wide receiver early. I mean, this is a new regime in the front office too. They might want to put their stamp on it.
Yeah, as long as we trade with all the division rivals on draft.
But with Minnesota ending so, with likely not having a pick in the top 25, I mean, it's going to be tough for Minnesota to try to move up to grab any sort of quarterback or skill player, you know?
These are, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to curse if you guys have children listening, but these are some shitty options at receiver next year. Holy crap. So I'm on spottrack.com. Nelson Aguilar, Sterling Shepard, DJ Chark is okay. Randall Cobb, Marvin Jones, Julio Jones, Byron Pringle, Alan Lazard, Jacoby Meyer, Deontay Hardy.
If Rick Spielman was in there, Marvin Jones would be a Viking next year because he always tries to sign the guys that would just carve Minnesota up.
Yeah, you're right.
There are some decent ones like Juju. I would love to have as a wide receiver too. I think he's underrated, even though he's annoying sometimes off the field. But these are not like there's no blockbuster name here, not even close. So
it's funny too because if you talk to Bears fans, they're like, "We've got all this salary cap. We're going to be." Spending and getting all these great players. And you look at who's in free agency and you're like, who are you eyeing?
You better buy a whole new offensive line and hope Justin Fields and all these people you're talking up are who they say they are. Because who's the receiver they said is like, oh, he's so much better than Adam Thielen? Mooney?
Yeah.
Well, if he is, get protection and find out because you're not gonna be going out there buying the ghost of Julio Jones and him coming in and making a difference. Come on.
Ghost of Julio Jones.
The Walking Dead featuring Julio Jones as a bear. Like, come on, man.
Oh, God, that's good.
Yeah, you're right, Adam. This team, they got to get something going offensively. And we're going to talk about this extensively in the offseason, but there's still a lot of work to be done. I don't know if Ed Ingram's the answer. Maybe he's a backup, but shit. I wouldn't be mad if they went out and got another guard in the second round.
I still like Ed Ingram, but he's not playing well. But I still kind of like the guy.
No, I don't want to cut him. I just don't know if I want him to start.
Yeah,
I don't want to get Kirk Cousins killed because Kirk was taking some shots yesterday.
I don't want Ingram and Bradbury next to each other.
Thank you, Adam. Because all signs point to us keeping Garrett Bradbury, which is. Whatever, he played and he earned it, but
you kind of got
he didn't get his 5th-year option, so they'll have to sign him back if they want him.
I'm going to look up centers that are free agents next year.
I was going to say, is there going to be a big market for Garrett Bradbury, like in this offseason?
I don't know. Pat Elflein's a starting center in the NFL.
God, that's right.
Rodney Hudson, very good. Connor McGovern, Jason Kelsey, he would not come to Minnesota. Austin Blythe. John Feliciano,
some pretty good names there.
Ethan Posick, Scott Questenberry, Tyler Lawson, Kyle Fuller. Yeah. Then a bunch of guys I've never heard of. There are some good center names here. There's some bad salaries there. Like Rodney Hudson out in Arizona, 10 million. I don't know if I want to pay my center $10 million, but Jason Kelsey's the shit. He's at $9 million, but he's getting old. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you, Adam. You said exactly what we were all thinking. Maybe if one changes, the other will get better, but I don't know. That seems to be the weak spot. Kirk was taking some shots yesterday, and now that I remember the hit, because there were 2 angles on the replay, I don't know whose fault that was, but I was like, thank God he didn't get a broken rib yesterday because hit quite a few times. Made
He's
some
tough.
beautiful throws.
Kirk is
He is
tough.
tough. He is
Yeah.
very tough.
We got some good news, though. It sounds like Christian Darrisaw could be back for Sunday.
Good.
Bring my man back. Free him out of that purgatory and don't let his head get banged up again.
Wrap him
I
in
looked
bubble
up to
wrap.
see if Cameron Dantzler was doing good. It sounds like he's recovering as they wanted on pace, so that's nice. Be excited to have him back. I like what I've seen out of Caleb Evans, though. He's been good. I like that scrappy
He's filled in pretty well.
spirit.
It was a shame that Booth didn't get more of a chance to play this season. But, I mean, the depth at corner can be a little rough because Minnesota is playing some guys that were free agents at the beginning of the year, you know?
Hey, don't sleep on Duke Shelley. That's terrifying when he has to get in there. That dude came in and broke up some touchdowns this year.
Yes.
Like, well, carry that confidence on your shoulders, man. I like it. But that's kind of it for it's a pretty quick show so far. I know Survival League update. Adam can tell you no more strikes or no strikes this week. So everybody's still locked in.
We're still going strong. 4 of us remain.
Nice.
Dallas pulled through for me in a big way.
Dallas looks really good. They're scoring a shitload of points.
And I believe 2 of us took Dallas and 2 of us took Seattle. So
nice.
The Seattle game was a close one. I was kind of keeping an eye on that one. But, you know, it was the Rams without Stafford. Even with Stafford, they haven't been very great this year. I guess that's what happens when your team gets picked apart.
Yeah.
Oh, RIP to my fantasy team. Started off so strong, we just keep losing. Damn it.
I had Trevor Lawrence as my starting fantasy quarterback last week. Didn't work out well.
Had Lamar Jackson yesterday. Got me 1 point.
Oh, no.
Got hurt. Yeah. It's been fun. It's been a good year.
Yeah. My dad had Lamar in fantasy as well, too, and was not too pleased.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you guys believe in little Kirko?
To be honest, man, I didn't see the kid once because I was watching some.
You're lucky. I don't ever want to see the kid again.
I didn't see it because I was doing the third party, maybe questionably legal stream on a third party site. And I didn't see, I saw him on Twitter and like Instagram and stuff, you know, the videos that were circulating, but I don't know. I think it's cool. I'm glad the Vikings won him when he was there too.
Yeah.
They actually did an interview with him on the sideline. It's pretty crazy.
Oh man, I bet that was interesting. Wes, you're not into Dallas. You said overrated Dak shows up. That's the thing, man. He don't have to do shit this year.
Yeah, he's probably the weakest part of that whole team at the moment as far as big names go. Their running game and their defense is so legit.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do much. I looked at the stats on that game. With them putting up 54 points, he only had 100-some yards. So, I don't know. He might just have to sit back and just not mess it up.
So, yeah, keep getting your picks in for the Survival League because this is going to be a fun season to see how it all shakes out.
If we have a tie, I still honor my commitment to this thing. I will buy you a Purple People Podcast hoodie or shirt of your choice, size and color. I'll mail that out to you, and I've got some goodies in here. If we don't go over 2, I can send you something cool. I'd say I'd save them, but I have an autographed Bud Grant picture over here on my wall. So there's like a 2000, little fan flyer from a game. And when I bought some stuff from his wife on the online yard sale, he'll sign that and throw it in there with a shirt or something. So we have 2 of those to give away as well.
Now the Vikings have a big enough lead in the division where a win on Sunday against Detroit will give Minnesota the NFC North title.
Nice.
So do you think, what do you think? I don't want to say what do you think the teams matter more? Like, does Minnesota want to win the division more than the Lions want to stop the Vikings from winning it? Because there's something to be said for playing spoiler. That's a lot of fun.
I want to know what their percentage chance is to squeak in the playoffs because they're number 2 in our division. Now, they're not going to beat out the other NFC East teams. I don't know about the NFC South or the West if they can squeak past any of those, but if they still have a fighting chance to get in the playoffs with some other, like if we win and the three other teams lose or tie, then yeah, of course they'll play their ass off. But I just don't think they like us because we're a division opponent. And they're probably like, oh, y'all are 10-2? All right, come in here and find out. We'll put up 50 on you. So we'll see. I just worry about this game because, like we said earlier, who said in the comments, Detroit's been putting up some numbers for what the Vikings can do on offense. They sputter, man. They're very inconsistent. So that'll be hard to keep up with. Amon-Ra St. Brown had a game either last week or this week. I mean, I looked on one of the fantasy teams. I was like, oh, cool. That's why I lost that.
And like you said earlier, Detroit is favored by 1 at this point, which is kind of amazing because Vegas does seem to know what's up.
You know what's crazy? I don't want to ask them for the answer. I just want to know what they base it off of because I want to know, do they base this off of, hey, I'm hearing that certain players are going to play or not play? Like, it can't be going off of stuff that doesn't really matter, like, oh, how many people did the game sell out, or is it at this time, blah, 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 blah.
There has to be.
Well, I know
have to have some kind of formula.
3 points for the Lions because they're playing in Detroit.
Sure. I'm still unfamiliar about how the spreads and everything work. Like if you're the negative, you're the favorite. And if you're 3-point, let's say the Vikings played the Cardinals tomorrow and they were 3-point favorites, that would be even on a neutral field. But because they're at home, that makes them the home team. I kind of picked that up over the years, but I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. It's always interesting. It's these division games. I feel like each one of our divisional opponents are very different. The Packers feel beaten up. The Bears feel like the Bears.
We have been getting a little bit of traction again in our Discord. If you guys do want to hop in there, we did chat a bit during the game.
Very nice.
Nice.
It's been a little while, but you gotta renew some of that stuff.
I would join you guys, but I work Sundays, so it's hard enough to be watching the game, but to also be chatting about it at work. It'd probably be a little frowned upon.
Following each game the next morning, over on the Viking Age, I put up my articles with the biggest takeaways. Those are worth checking out. This week, I also did some pending free agents that the Vikings need to re-sign to the team. Both are pretty solid pieces, I think. I know that I don't quite agree with a lot of Vikings fans on some players and team needs and things like that, but I love the fact that people with different opinions on things can have conversations and share ideas.
I will defend Adam. Not that he needs defense because he hasn't done anything wrong, but try to help him, when I remember to go on his articles on the Viking Age. Make sure you sign in and comment below. The more engagement, the more money. So you put money in his pocket without having to spend any of your own, which is nice. But he had a great piece this weekend. Pretty much everything you talked about and 4 things that the Vikings need to do to win. It's kind of what they did. So,
oh yeah, I spent a while researching that, so I felt good about that article. I came out knowing that the Vikings were going to attack the middle of that defense as a run game.
It's good. Adam knows what he's talking about.
And when the head coach comes out and, that's what he says he wanted to do, it makes me as a fan at home thinking maybe I do know something about this game. So to me, it felt good just knowing that I was able to figure something out that the people at the top did.
Speaking of the Discord, if anyone listens later on Spotify or the podcast or wherever you listen to this at later, if it's just audio, Sergio Moreno says, I'm glad that the Discord is active because I definitely need a place to vent during the game.
Oh, and there is some venting going on in there, that's for sure.
We all have group therapy for 3 hours every week during these games because they're at some point trying to piss you off. I think this is the first game during the year, minus week 1, where I didn't talk shit about this team in our group chat.
Yeah, that's accurate.
It is. We're getting there. I'm sorry.
You did a little bit. You were getting a little frustrated about giving up a lot of the yardage so quick.
And, coming at the end of the game, I thought, they scored that late touchdown in the fourth quarter. I was like, hell yeah, there we go. Then they come back. I was like, okay, cool. They got the ball back. Oh, crap. They're like on their 5-yard line. You guys got to get out of there. Get a first down. They don't get a first down. I'm like, shit, you gave them the ball again. This team, man, they'll give you a heart attack if you let them. But Adam, I'll plug your stuff again. We'll wrap the show up. Follow Adam on all social medias and go to the Viking Age and comment under his articles. Engage with other people under there.
I just upgraded my phone too, so all these cat pictures are going to be in a lot higher definition. I hope you're ready.
There we go. The content we're here for. Go to thevikingage.com. You can look and find Adam's articles there. It'll tell you in their little thumbnails who wrote what article. So
the team at the Viking Age is very good. There's lots of great opinions, some bold stuff there. Even if it's not my content, it's probably something you'll find interesting.
You know, I have to brag on any of those fan-sided sites, man. If you're a fan of a particular team and you want to follow that niche and that rabbit hole specifically to your team, they'll talk about literally anything you could think of. And a lot of things you won't think of. You're like, oh, shit, I'll read that. That's cool. I didn't know this or didn't know that was an option. So not just filler here, folks. We mean that.
Hey, that's my stuff. You can check me out over on Twitter and Instagram. Vaguely Square is the username. We'll chit-chat about stuff. You know, whatever. Vikings football or...
By the way, it's BS
movies.
That I can't get a blue check for $8, but you Apple users can.
Why?
You can't get Twitter Blue on any device other than Apple products.
Oh, yeah, that's not cool.
I don't know. I will not be spending the $8 for Twitter Blue.
I don't either,
Plus,
but you know, Adam is mad because he wants to miss out on the picture comment below of like, this MF paid for Twitter for everything he says. That's a go-to for everybody.
For me, for what I do, having that little check mark has the possibility of giving me legitimacy.
Yeah, I get it.
For a lot of people, it makes no sense. But for me, it would make a little bit of sense. And I do think it's kind of crappy that it's not an equal thing for everybody at this point. But then again, people have a lot bigger problems with Twitter at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, Kyle West Stealth stuff. If you guys are looking on the screen, you can go there. If you can't, and you're not watching this, you're listening, https://Kyle West 84 like Randy Moss .pickfair.com. We have it on our Facebook page. Facebook page is facebook.com/Purple People Podcast. We have it pinned up at the top. Kyle West Photography, man. I always say good things about it. Support him. Buy some stuff for the holidays. If you want something cool to buy as a gift for the holiday season, I would get on it. We're getting closer to Christmas.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, yeah, the holiday season, get your loved ones some nice art. Art is always good. For a while there, I never had any idea what to get for my sister, but then I ended up getting her like some artist prints and stuff like that, and it's really a great way to kind of weasel your way out of not knowing what to buy somebody if you know a few things they like.
I want to throw mine up here. Some cool news this week. I guess I have representation in the music business now. I am a part of Songs for Life, LLC. A good friend of mine, if you guys can see right here, as I point to it, you can't see all the way down. This is my signed Fender Jazzmaster. That particular guitar is played by guys like Kurt Cobain and now Chris Stapleton. Ooh. It's the hipster Fender model, but I got it signed by Chris Stapleton by a lovely lady who helped me meet him named Misty. Been following me in my music stuff forever. I've gotten some original songs. I'm going to put out an EP next year. And yeah, I guess Songs for Life is my representation now. So
there you go.
2023 is going to be a fun year for me. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, this is my, and YouTube. I don't post anything on YouTube.
If you don't mind me asking, how did that happen? Was it you applying for representation, or was it someone who scouted you at one of your shows?
This is not even a show thing. This is just me posting on Instagram and saying, hey, look, I wrote a song. Tell me what you think. Much like the formula is now for most of everyone. Put it out for free, see what happens, and then...
Oh, yeah. The SoundCloud formula.
It is, and it still works. And then that leads to bigger stuff. As you know, Adam, with your business, if you have certain names attached to your stuff, it'll get you at least a look somewhere. So
yeah.
That's kind of the goal. I don't know where that'll go. I have no aspirations of becoming rich and famous on that. If it happens, that'd be cool, but it's certainly not why I did it. But I'm excited to share that with you guys. So
I think
that
you need to work on TikTok next.
All right. And I'll do different angles where I turn and look at the camera and it just keeps going. Like, what's your name from Bob's Burgers? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be great.
Do it.
But I'm going to put this banner back up. Thank you, guys, everyone, for tuning in. The Vikings are 10-2, baby. We still got a lot of football left, too. They're going to the postseason. They should win the North. It's a good year this year. We're happy to watch them win a lot of games. And we'll
big divisional matchup this weekend. Division on the line.
We'll be right back to cover that Lions game and then a weird Saturday game next week against the Colts. So we'll see how that goes.
Triple header on NFL Network. Matt Ryan and the Colts.
Oh, God. Speaking of the ghosts and corpses of players.
But thank you so much to everyone who joined us in the chat. We love having you here. It makes everything so much more fun. I see that we've got quite a few people here on the YouTube channel, which means you likely subscribe or get notifications, which both of those things are fantastic. I saw some Facebook people too, which always cool to see Facebook people here. Did not see a Twitch person, but that's okay. That is the 3 places that we stream this show. So come on in and hang out if you get an opportunity. But we'll be back next week to talk about the game against the Lions. In the meantime, stay classy, Minnesota.